This is the Thunderdome.
I don't even know where to start. I'm actually kind of speechless with this one. Oh, I know. Let's talk about the Ewok village. Growing up, I heard a lot of negative opinions about this bizarre, cutesy detour that suddenly takes place halfway into the third film in this trilogy. People have called it too childish, too boring, too not in line with the general tone of the previous two films to really work in this movie. I disagree. I think the Ewoks are responsible for a ton of funny moments. I don't believe they destroy the tone of the series, considering Star Wars has always been intended to be enjoyed by a younger audience. And more importantly, they still feel like a natural part of this world. They aren't that far off from the bizarre aliens in the previous films like the Jawas. They suit the story, and it's inspiring to see their rather primitive weapons take down the evil empire. The Ewoks feel like they belong in Star Wars, and the encounter with them feels like it belongs in Return of the Jedi, even if the Jabba and Palpatine parts of the story are a little different tonally. So why do I bring all of this up now? Well, you see, every single negative thing I've heard about the Ewoks over the years, every single opinion expressing how much they suck and don't belong in the movie or the universe, I don't agree with any of that. But it is truly insane that every single one of those complaints 100% applies to Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome. I sat there with the most dumbfounded look on my face as the series I got so invested in across every other installment took one of the hardest left turns I have ever seen a franchise take in recorded history. Everyone likes to say how crazy it is that George Miller is the director of both the Mad Max and the Happy Feet franchises. But after watching this movie, yeah, no, that checks out. This is a Happy Feet movie masquerading as Mad Max. It's abundantly clear that he didn't want to make these anymore, because only half of this film is worth a damn. And even then, it's not all that great compared to the first two. Max winds up in Bartertown, run by Tina Turner, who, I'm sorry, I did not find very convincing in this role. I have nothing against her, she's a great musician, but her acting just did not work for me, and I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, so sorry. Tina Turner wants Max to take out this asshole duo, Blaster Master, because the brains of this team, Master, has a really big ego from running the pig shit farm. So Max fights his subordinate Blaster in the titular Thunderdome, and I guess this is most people's favorite part of the movie? I mean, I suppose it is for me too, but even then, I don't think it's that cool of a fight. These bungee ropes they're attached to are creative in theory, but ultimately they just make Max look goofy as he jumps around this guy. I don't know, it's okay, but not great. But ultimately it ends when Max decides he doesn't want to kill this guy. See, I don't really know if at this point in the series, Max would be so soft and unwilling to kill in order to survive, even if this guy is mentally impaired. But he doesn't do it, so he spins a wheel to determine his fate. That's a pretty fun idea. Ultimately, he's sent off to exile in the desert. And at this point I was like, okay, maybe the movie is going to begin now. We are 45 minutes into a Mad Max movie with no car chases in it, and the only action scene being a goofy bungee jumping fight. Is something really cool gonna happen now? So remember when I talked about the Ewoks? Max is brought to a green village full of tree children who are descended from the survivors of a plane crash, who believe him to be the fabled captain who will fly them to Tomorrow Land. I'm sorry, wait, what movie am I watching? Suddenly, the bleak, offbeat, insane tone of the series is gone. And instead, we find ourselves in a cutesy fantasy world populated by annoying children that I don't care about. None of them are likable, charming, or interesting. An issue which is only compounded by what a bizarre tonal shift this is for the series. It does at least flesh out the universe and show a different side of it that's much less brutal than what we expect. So that's worth something, I guess. But at what cost, man? It makes for such an absolute tonal mess. It's like someone took the VHS tape of a Mad Max movie and accidentally recorded over it with a worse version of Hook. Oh, sorry, let me explain that one for all the youngins. Back before we had DVDs, we watched movies on these black rectangles rectangle things called VHSs that you had to manually rewind and fast forward with no option to instantly skip to a certain scene. They obviously have a lot of nostalgic value, but let's be honest with ourselves, they fucking sucked and were a pain in the ass to use. Media consumption peaked with DVDs and Blu-rays. All of this is to say, I don't like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome very much. The third act brings the two halves of this movie together and has Tina Turner and her goons going after the kids in a pretty cool train chase scene, I guess. But in no way is this chase scene superior to the action in The Road Warrior, or even the first Mad Max film. It just feels comparatively sauceless. Emphasis on comparatively, because it's definitely cooler than your average action scene. But as both the climax of and the only chase scene in a Mad Max film, I expected more, honestly. And then it all culminates with the kids escaping after Max makes a sacrifice play. He's surrounded, there's no way he's getting out of this, and then Tina Turner just lets him go after he destroyed her town and her entire operation. I guess she was just really impressed with him doing that, so she doesn't shoot him. This is the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my life. At least based on what I was expecting from it. Mad Max has always had a lot of goofiness, but that was all sprinkled on top of the inherent coolness and grit each of these other movies have. Every other film in this awesome saga is a perfectly balanced concoction of the rawest and the silliest shit you'll ever see. With this one, they took that concoction and halfway through the baking process, they spilled an entire container of silliness all over it, resulting in one of the messiest kitchen disasters I've ever seen in my life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's just not a good one by any stretch of the imagination. Even if you like the stupid kid stuff, I don't know how you could possibly justify it coexisting alongside the Thunderdome half of the film. It has some cool elements. I like the concept of Blaster Master as a character, and the climax is pretty rad. Plus, I mean, on some level, I do admire it for taking such big swings. But I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of pushback for saying this is the only bad Mad Max movie. I've come to really love this series, but my love for it can only extend so far.